Today we're going to go over 5 supposed stroller hacks that we've seen several times in articles, blogs, and on YouTube that are just frankly bad ideas. Stuff that can both damage your stroller and in some cases be quite dangerous for your child as well. Before we begin, please note that we're not trying to call anybody out for sharing their ideas in this video. I'm sure the posters had nothing but good intentions, but we do want to give our opinion here as a warning, in particular with these specific ideas, since we've seen them suggested in several places. So let's get started then, beginning with a hack that at this point has actually become a relatively common stroller accessory, and that's those carabine hooks that people use to hang shopping bags from a stroller's handle. And the problem here is that this is one of the chief ways that stroller handles and central locking mechanisms get broken, because the handle already takes enormous pressure just from steering and tipping, vibrations from the environment, and the weight of your kid, as well as possibly whatever has already stuffed that shopping basket so full that one is forced to hang stuff from the handle in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that it's not okay to hang anything from the handle. A diaper bag, cup holder, and maybe a purse are fine. But the handle is not designed to take weight beyond this. That's what a shopping basket is for. And if you need more storage capacity, then getting a larger model or using a backpack are much better ideas from the standpoint of preserving your stroller. Next up for stroller hacks that are just bad advice is the idea of washing a stroller's textiles by drenching them with a hose and then scrubbing them down with a toothbrush, instead of just removing them from your stroller first. As, in addition to not being a very thorough way of getting them clean, we don't wash our clothes this way after all, this often leads to rust problems with zippers, any push buttons and screws with which the fabrics are attached to the chassis, any unpainted metal areas on the chassis beneath, and any internal metal mechanical components that are exposed as the hollow areas of the chassis fill with water. In addition, because water tends to pool places and can take a long time to entirely evaporate, the textiles can easily develop mildew and mold. And it's also really hard to thoroughly rinse away whatever cleaning agents have been used, which can be dangerous for your baby. Now, of course, with some, usually though not always, cheaper strollers, removing the textiles may not be an option. But, in addition to the fact that removable textiles should be one of the prerequisites for buying a chosen model in the first place, if it is too much trouble to remove them, such as if they're riveted in place, then it's all about spot cleaning in my opinion, not the hose. Otherwise, my advice is to use a washing machine or hand wash the textiles, in a basin, away from your chassis, and with a warm place to hang them up, spread out for drying. Third up is the idea of attaching ankle weights to the front forks or front frame of a stroller in order to keep it from tipping over backwards, since the truth is that strollers can't actually build muscle. And adding weight to the front end puts a lot of extra pressure on the ball bearings, axles, and front wheel housings, as well as on all the joints, connection mechanisms, and locking points on the rest of the chassis during tipping and steering, which all greatly accelerates wear to the model as a whole. Tipping strollers are dangerous, obviously, but this usually only happens when heavy items are hung from the handle or when the seats, usually of ultra-compacts, umbrella models, or three-wheelers, are fully reclined, with bigger kids who like to scrunch their way too far up the backboard. It doesn't usually happen if these factors are not present, and it almost never happens if parents are holding the stroller. The next one is a bit more serious, and one that luckily appears less often, but is still out there, and that's the idea of covering a stroller with a blanket to block out sunlight. As, according to researchers, even a thin blanket can cause a stroller to heat up to dangerous levels within a short period of time, reduce air circulation, and put infants at serious risk. And the worst part is that with a blanket, parents can't see their baby if they start to show signs of distress, and things like heat stroke can occur without causing them to cry out. Note that this is not an exaggerated worry. Stokke, for example, in 2014, recalled a stroller blanket fitted with buttons for attaching it to the canopy, specifically because of concerns from health experts about this issue. And instead, there are plenty of sun hoods, opaque mosquito nets, and other accessories that can be bought pretty cheap and will give adequate sun coverage without being dangerous. And last up then, ending with the worst stroller hack for today, is any attempt to hack the number of children that a stroller can accommodate by any means. From my experience in the workshop, I'm itching to include wheeled boards here, which are always a bad idea as far as preserving your stroller is concerned, by the way. But what we're actually going to look at instead are the more creative solutions, like tying scarves to a stroller handle arms to make a hammock, thinking it's okay to connect an extra seat to tandem models like the City Select just because they have an extra attachment point for changing elevation, or worst of all, double loading the bassinet on one side of a Boogaboo donkey to make it a three-seater. This is one that I really hope people haven't replicated, as, in addition to almost certainly breaking a very expensive stroller, it's really dangerous. The plastic struts on a donkey's frame are way too weak for this. Stroller manufacturers do everything possible to keep the weight of their products down, to make life easier, and to be competitive, and this requires streamlining structural design. The consumer side of that deal is to respect both the weight limits they set and the places on a stroller that they say can accommodate that weight. A 50-pound weight limit doesn't mean that those 50 pounds can go anywhere. A bowling ball can't be suspended from the canopy, for example. And if unforeseen extra passengers suddenly pop up, it means it's time to use a different stroller. In any case, we hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, we ask that you subscribe, as it helps us to continue making videos in the future. In addition, if you are currently shopping for a stroller, we have a buyer's guide on our Patreon page which lists a wide range of models that we recommend, with a lot of technical and lifestyle related information. You can find it by following the link in the description. Thank you.